There we go. Now we're on the right one. Um, so, I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. Because, because of recent circumstances, I don't want to talk about any drama right now. So, this stream and next, we'll just be playing some games, I guess. But I pretty much have to play this one because on one of Abyssal Gray's last few streams, they and Francis, their friend, played this game. And Francis, the funny man, who also simps for the character, one of the characters in this game, decided to fucking challenge me to get one of the endings. Because they got three of them. So, yeah. I'm gonna try to get ending one, I guess. So, I'll switch over here. Try game capture, I guess. Let's see if I can figure out how to set this thing up. Okay, let's go to downloads. Actually, you know what the fuck am I doing? Okay, there we go. What the fuck is it? Run the game. I can tell you I'm a chintzy boomer. Okay, what is it doing? Don't download the. Stop downloading the OneDrive. I don't care. I just want you to run the fucking game. It keeps downloading the OneDrive. Why is it? Okay, let's get out of quick access. How about that? Open. Okay, there we go. Okay, game's running now. Let's see if we can get this thing to switch. Okay, now it should. There we go. Okay, so Gray and Francis on their stream got ending 2 where he hated you. You made him hate you so much that he killed you. Ending 3 where the date went good but he kept you alive. And then ending 4 where the date went so good he killed you. So, oh, it should be audio, right? At least I thought there was. So let's try to get whatever ending one is. I have no idea what ending one is. Sometimes dating in Colorado felt harder than it had any right to be. You search for places no one should ever have to search. Like speed dating with a guy who looked twice your age and still lived in his mother's basement. Maybe it was the endless void of Tinder where every swipe had the same dead-end conversations. Where it was clear most people only wanted one thing. You really did try, honestly, but despite all your efforts, you came up empty. That was until that night. You went to some overrated, overpriced warehouse party with bad lighting and ear-deafening music. Not exactly your scene, but your friends practically dragged you there. Put yourself out there, they said. With someone new, someone different, they said. And someone different it was. You'd just gone through a messy breakup, and let's face it, 4 too many nights spent single. You weren't exactly desperate. But it would have been nice to have someone to talk to. Someone to share a drink with. Maybe something more. Yeah, some more, alright. Oh, fuck this man. Romantically speaking, of course. And that's how you met Avon. This fucking femboy. Though it wasn't exactly the stuff of fairy tales. Not in some our eyes met across the room kind of way, or love at first sight. Oh no, you met him face first, practically body slamming him in your drunken sprint to the bathroom. Turns out that one shot too many and your lifelong lightweight status didn't mix too well. Who knew? But instead of brushing you off like any other shitty college guy would, he helped. He actually helped. Held your hair back like some night in a really flame. Held your hair back like some night in a slightly wrinkled flannel that seemed to wash away too many times in your mouth. Made sure you didn't pass out on the cold tile of the bathroom floor as your lunch made its ever so grand reappearance in the toilet. Bro. He stayed until the room stopped spinning, or at least slowed down a little. Now, normally you don't give your number out to a random guy you've only known for the duration of a bad life choice. But after someone's literally held your hair while your dignity shot through your mouth, it would have been kind of rude not to. So here you are, the car of the guy who helped you while you were involuntarily purging your stomach. What the fuck am I doing here? You must have been scowling because you were snapped out of your thoughts by a smooth and soft voice. What are you thinking about? You got that far off look. Like an angry cat. Was it that obvious? He sniffled the small laugh, glancing you over slowly. Well, now you look confused. Are you planning an escape route or something? It was always so teasing. Even over text, after the party, now was no different. Oh, me? I was just thinking about how we met. It was an odd way to meet a date, that's for sure, but you wanted to give it a chance. The party, right? You can barely remember your own name. What was it again? He smirked, clearly teasing. You narrowed your eyes, but played along anyway. Okay, now we gotta make a name. I'll just, you know what? One of my characters fits the vibe of this game, so one of my characters from my manga, so I'll just put in her name. Fuck it, she's basically playing as a girl anyway. I'll just put in Alexis's name. the steering wheel. Putting his free hand up, he sighed in vain defeat. Force of habit, I suppose. I'll have you know I excel at first dates. And hey, you haven't jumped off the car yet, so that must mean you don't mind it. Kinda like knight in shining armor that doubles as a court jester. He said thinking for a moment, keeping his eyes on the road now. And I get the honor of spending the night with you? I must be on a roll. Trust face the other fucking way around. I wanna fuck you till you catch bronchitis. The things I would fucking do to you. You rolled your eyes, but couldn't help the smile tugging at the corner of your lips. His confidence was ridiculous, borderline cheesy, but charming. The soft hum of lo-fi music played in the background, easing some of the tension in your chest. Something about Avon made it easy to breathe, made you feel safe. Even from the very beginning, when most people just handed you napkins and walked away, he stuck around. He always felt genuine, even if he was practically a stranger. Say, you went to lo-fi? Yeah, I like it. Avon smiled. He seemed to like that. Nice, nice. Knew you had good taste. You chuckled. Honestly, Alexis, you'd be surprised how many people only listen to it for studying your background noise. I don't know. I find it calming. It helps clear the mental static a bit. You get me? Yeah, I can see that. So we're gonna... That's from another game, so I'm gonna save right here, so in case we don't get ending 1, we can just come back. Yeah, I can see that. I smiled at him, considering his opinion. I get why you like it. He leaned back in his seat, red eyes half closed as the mellow beat filled the dark car, head bobbing gently. So, where exactly are you taking me? A slight smirk played on Avon's handsome face. You'll see. It's a surprise. A surprise? You're not about to murder me in the woods or something, are you? Avon chortled at the idea. What? No. I don't even have a weapon on me. Relax. Yes, you do. Yes, you fucking do. I've seen the other endings. Yes, you fucking do. The night breeze shifted past you as you took in your surroundings. Hang on right quick. I'm just copying the live link. Okay. The night breeze shifted past you as you took in your surroundings. You stared confused into the void of the unfamiliar parking lot. Wait, is this a Wait, is this a surprise? A parking lot? I gave a nervous chuckle, trying to not seem rude. Not quite. There's that teasing tone again. We're going there. Avon pointed just beyond the parking lot. There you saw large gates with a worn stone sign that read Denver, Colorado Cemetery. Is that the cemetery? Bingo. He looked back at me with a look of pride. You like it? Okay. So we're gonna try to go middle. Avon's face fell flat, smile of pride gone. He gave you a quick once-over and rolled his eyes. Well, I like it. We didn't say we didn't like it, we just questioned it. It's romantic, it's fun. In a mysterious, spooky sort of way, you know? Think about it. Peaceful, quiet, no crowd, just vibes. Ah, shut the fuck up. Alone. Is he flirting? Oh god, he's flirting. Avon noticed the sense of disgust on your face. He sighed and shook your head. Just don't knock it till you try it, okay? How condescending. Well, I did just kind of judge him. Do attempt to give a warm smile. Yeah, great date. Great date idea. Just us and a bunch of dead people. Great listeners. Avon gestures for you to follow him. Come on. It's not as weird as it sounds, promise. You look so excited. You and Avon walked along the misty pavement of the parking lot, you slightly behind, shoes crunching the gravel beneath them. As you followed along, it felt as if the path got dimmer and dimmer. The gate ahead looms like it belongs in some sort of gothic novel. It all felt so off. But only for a moment. A small spider skittles across the toe of your shoe. You freeze, taking in the sharp breath, then continue walking, a little stiffer than before. You quickly latched onto Avon's arms without thinking. Avon stiffens in shock as he looks over to you. You okay? Letting go in embarrassment, you sighed with a nervous chuckle. Yeah, just didn't really expect this kind of vibe tonight. I can see that. His face softened slightly and you gave a gentle smile. Don't worry, I'll make sure you have a good time. Wanna hold my hand? Take his hand. You gently took his hand with a grateful smile. It's warm and steady, like it's guiding you. Something about that brings you comfort. There we go. His genuine smile puts you at ease. I promise not to let any spiders slip under your skin. You laughed at his morbid joke. His touch felt grounding, even if for a fleeting moment. Appreciate it. We can leave that to the corpses. Despite your own joke, you shivered at the thought. So gross. You scrunched your face up in a playful disgust, your head leaning on his shoulder with a sigh. Yeah. Avon's voice trails off as if you were daydreaming about something. The path still feels eerie, but somehow less alone. His thumb rubs against the top of your hand as you walk. It's subtle, but comforting. You two continue to walk along the gravel path, the gate behind you fading into the dark. Your eyes travel down to his chest, catching a glimpse of his necklace. You were surprised you didn't see it before. Hey, where'd you get that necklace? Avon hesitated, tensing up in a sudden question. Oh, I'd like to make him tense up. Fucking bound him and gag him. Such a sudden interest. Well, it was my dad's originally. As he averts his gaze, the air suddenly feels thicker. Oh, is it real? Like, genuine? Avon snorted at your question. It's not Sheen or anything, if that's what you mean. It's actually from a cult. You stopped in your tracks, taken aback by his statement. Was he in a cult? What the fuck did you get yourself into? You're in a cult? There's no fucking way, right? Avon laughed at your reaction. Genuine. But now he was slightly guarded. Not in the way that said he was self-conscious, just as if he was avoiding a really awkward conversation. No, not me. Not by a long shot. He's still laughing. But my dad was. Oh. And, you know, the apple doesn't fall too far. I'm not in a cult, but I am a Satanist. Oh, damn. That's kind of cool, actually. That's kind of cool, honestly. Serious? with a dash of daddy issues. Avon paused, watching you for a moment. As a smile slowly creeped on his face. His voice was low, very amused at your response. Exactly the vibe I was going for. Avon laughed and leaned in close, a content smile on his face. You get it. Most people don't. They don't always like it. I gotta put the glasses on because I can't see text. God damn it. Somehow you two felt closer. Closer now, not just physically. I like people who aren't afraid of things like that. It's rare, you know. Really rare. His eyes lingered on you for a second too long, as if you were weighing something behind them. He gave you a smile, one that almost felt too gentle. Honestly, that may be what I see in you. Why I took you out here. Let's be for real. No one would just go on some date with a stranger they met 2 days ago at a warehouse party. But I think you see people, you know? The words feel flattering, intimate even, but there's something heavy beneath them. Really. You look at him with bright eyes. You think that about me. You smile at his words. Unless I'm wrong, of course. There's that playful tone again. Well, I guess we'll learn about that together then, won't we? Avon turned his face away, hiding behind his fringe, so you can hear his breath hitch slightly. Deciding to change the topic, you cleared your throat. As you walk beside Avon, your eyes drift downward, drawn by the way his fingers toy with the pendant around his neck. It's a St. Peter's cross dangling loosely from a blackened chain. He's pinching it between his thumb and index, rubbing it in slow circles like it soothes him. But it's not the necklace that's keeping your gaze this time. It's his hands. The skin around his nails are torn, raw, jagged, like he's been picking it or biting at it for a while. Your hands. What happened? He freezes for half a second, just long enough for you to notice. Then he exhales a small laugh, too sharp to be casual. That. He keeps walking, but shoves his hands into his pockets as if he were a child caught with his hands in a cookie jar. I bite them sometimes when I'm stressed or thinking too much. His tone shifts slightly. It was quieter, distant, like the words are drifting somewhere darker than he's currently willing to show you. You nod, the path crunching under your steps, and don't press further. You want to ask what too much means, but something tells you you don't really want the answer. So instead, you walk beside him in silence. Avon humming softly under his breath, the pendant still swinging from his neck, like a pendulum ticking down to something awful. The soft curve of the cemetery path crunched beneath your feet as the silence between your steps grew lighter. As the path faded into patchy grass, you noticed something just ahead, laid out like a dream. A blanket, snacks, and a couple of drinks all neatly placed in a clearing between old headstones. You paused in front of the admittedly romantic display. Wait, was this already here? When did he have time for that? Avon glanced over with a crooked smile, as if caught. Yeah, I like to be prepared. Yeah, really prepared. You stared at the picnic ahead in surprise. How long did it take for him to do this? I'm trying to not talk about how I want to fuck this man. just do. I don't care, he's a murderer. I will fuck him till he catches bronchitis. Oh, fuck. He gave you a charming smile, taking your hand, guiding you to the blanket. He sat with his legs stretched out comfortably, hands falling behind him like this was routine. Over the years, I've gotten used to setting things up in advance. It's a habit of mine. Sometimes I don't get much time to plan, so when I can, I make it count. His voice dipped lower like he was remembering something, but he didn't elaborate. You weren't sure if it was really your place to push. He slowly sat beside him, still eyeing the picnic-like setup. So what is this all anyway? You nod to the blanket and the small spread of food and drinks laid out. Are you trying to romance me or put me in a food coma? You inch closer to Avon, getting comfortable. Avon chuckles, getting comfortable in his position but not pulling away. A little bit of both, maybe. Let's see. Avon reached out to grab a bag of chips. We got chips, plain and spicy, sweet and sour candy, a couple of homemade pastries, sweet ones, nothing fancy. Letting go of the item in his hand, he taps the small cooler near the center. Then water, juice, soda, and a few energy drinks if you're into that. You made the pastries? Avon grinned. What, you think I'm all graveyards? I can bake. Yeah, fucking look at you. How could somebody that looks like this not fucking bake? You got a fucking bakery right there! He chuckles to himself. Badly, but it still counts. You glance at the food again, then back to him, an appreciative smile on your lips. This is actually really thoughtful. Like I said, I like to be prepared. You should never forget that. So drinks, what's your pick? Let's go with a regular soda. Soda. Classic choice. Reaching for a can, you pop the tab, the fizz crackling between you. Sometimes it just hits the spot. Avon watches you with a playful smirk, but doesn't reach for one himself. Instead, he goes for the juice. I like it every now and then. Every now and again, when the vibe is right. Avon takes a long sip of his own drink, as do you. That hits the spot. You looked over the rest of the setup, eyeing the snacks laid out. Okay, be honest. Are you trying to be romantic or just fatten me up for a ritual sacrifice? Avon grins at your question, lounging back on his hands without breaking eye contact. Can it be both? I think that's the best kind of romance. He waves a hand over the snacks. Alright, menu time. Pastries. You bake. Now I have to judge you. You take one of the small, uneven pastries and raise a brow. Avon smirks, but looks a bit self-conscious. Come on now, be gentle. They were made during a psychotic episode, or two. Despite his slightly concerning comment, you take a bite. It's actually good, soft and sweet, and surprisingly, not a crime against humanity. The only crime against humanity here is what's going to happen when I get a hand on his lower regions. He's impressive for someone who sucks at baking. Yvonne hums proud of himself. As time passed, you ate the snacks and spoke about various things. Sometimes it was about nothing, sometimes it was about an actual topic. But overall, you both were enjoying yourselves and each other's company. You couldn't help but wonder, though, how do you even get in here? Aren't you worried about getting caught or something? You were nervous at the idea of a security guard catching you both out here. Avon chuckled, rubbing his shoulder. Not really. Trespassing's never been a big deal to me. Back when I was younger, some friends and I used to sneak into way worse places. Abandoned factories, rooftops, train yards. Avon's gaze shifted to the side for a moment. A few houses, too. He laughed to himself, as if it were just harmless nostalgia. We got into a bunch of utter illegal shit. Still do sometimes. You eyed him with a weary look, brows raising. But he just grinned wider. Relax, that's not why we're here tonight. He gestured loosely to the graves around you. I actually work here. Funeral home side of it. Or morgue, depending on what sounds spookier to you. So they don't really care when I come in or out as long as I just don't piss anyone off. You know, dig up a grave or mess with a coffin or two. He laughed again like it was a joke. You weren't sure it was. You tilted your head, taking that in. Most people wouldn't go near a morgue, let alone work in one, but he seemed unfazed. You work at a morgue. For how long? Avon hummed thoughtfully. 5 years. Would have started sooner, but I got caught up in some things after high school. Avon sat upright, gazing at the full moon. The morgue doesn't bother you, or you like the receptionist or something? That made him actually laugh. No, I do the full works. Embalming, cleaning, prepping, down to the nitty gritty. Death doesn't really bother me. Yeah, of course you're a fucking murderer. Never has. He looked at you for an actual second. He looked at you, and for a second, something flickered behind his eyes. It's all natural anyway. Plus, he bit his lip slightly, a strange glint in his expression. I quite like it. You like death. You hesitated. Or your job. He giggled, quiet and low, leaning back on his elbows and turning his face away from yours. Both. That's honestly fascinating. Not many people can handle death so closely. Avon tilted his head, clearly pleased. Yeah, most people look away, pretend it like it doesn't exist. He let out a short, awkward laugh, but it wasn't nervous. It was giddy, like something warm had uncoiled in his chest. But I think when you face it... Oh, but I think when you can face it, when you can understand, it, it stops being scary. Disgusting, even. Most people change the subject, but you didn't. He shifted as if he was trying to sit still. Was suddenly harder. Oh. He shifted as if trying to sit still was suddenly harder than it should have been. I think there's something beautiful about it. The body, what's left of us. I mean, not everyone gets it. He looked at you for a little too long, eyes flickering briefly. Briefly down your face and your neck, and then back up. Avon shifts again. Fingers nervously tapping against the rim of a nearby drink can. His gaze trailed down as if like he's trying to contain something. It's weird, right? I know it is. God, sorry, that's probably a lot. He lets out a sharp breath and laughs again, flustered but clearly enjoying the adrenaline of sharing this with you. But you asked, and you don't look grossed out. He gave you a gentle smile. So I figured maybe I could be honest. He looks down at his bitten and jagged fingernails. There's faint redness under the cuticles. You realize he's been scratching at his palm throughout the conversation. I don't get to talk like this with people. Not without stem, pulling away. He looks back up at the smile. Fuck. He looks back up, and the smile he gives you is a little too hopeful, a little too hungry. But not you, right? He tilts his head at you, curiosity in his eyes. But it's not really a question, it's a test. That's fucking weird, Avon. That's a lot. No, not at all. He spoke softly. No, not at all. You don't flinch. In fact, something in you stirs. Whether it's curiosity or something deeper, you're not sure. You lean in, smirking slightly. You make it sound almost poetic. Avon blinks, surprised for a second, then grins, wide, relieved, like he's found someone who sees it. God, you actually get it. His hand finds yours, is cold but steady, and the way he looks at you now, it's like his walls are slowly coming down. The silence between you grows. It's not hostile but cautious. You glance at him, watching the way he stares ahead. Expression unreadable now. The blanket is spread out into the grass. Why did it come out like that? What the fuck? The blanket is... Fuck! Goddamn speech impediment. The blanket is spread out in the grass. The soft clink of drink bottles, the faint rustle of candy wrappers, and the hum of distant wind fill the air. Wow, all this eating has me thinking. I haven't really asked too much about you, besides work and you saving my ass from further embarrassment. Avon leans back on his hands, giving you a slow grin. Oh, yeah. Common hobby of mine. But besides parties, cemeteries, and, saving drunks. He side-eyed you for a moment, stifling a laugh. I've actually got some surprises up my sleeve. Like collecting old trinkets, exploring abandoned buildings, watching banned or illegal films. Stuff like that. He seemed proud of his spread of hobbies, a smile stretching on his face. You seem like the grimy type, huh? There's a low hum in Avon's throat. In a minute, there's about to be something else in his throat. Actually, I really like cleaning. Like, obsessively. Back when I was still with my dad, he kinda stopped giving a damn, so I picked up around the house. I'd say it's a good hobby for a mortician. Just another part of the job. Wow, polar opposite interests, huh? You breathed in mild amusement as Avon raised a brow, like you challenged him. What? No, I have more normal hobbies too. He shifts, turning fully towards you, the corner of his mouth pulling into a smirk. You probably caught on that I like lo-fi earlier. But I also mess with making candles. It's pretty fun. That and I go up in the mountains pretty often to ski or snowboard. Man, do I love it. Just the wind, speed, and the crunch of the snow. It's dangerous, sure, but that's what I like about it. You listened to him with interest, smiling as he spoke about his hobbies. Avon smiles back before averting his eyes. He clicks his tongue in thought, his voice soft and unsure. Yeah, the mountains are kind of my thing. You tilt your head, about to respond, but Avon opens his mouth first. You cut him off. Oh, sorry. He blinks, then chuckles, waving forward for you to go ahead. No, go first. You nod slightly before speaking teasingly. So, candles. Never would have thought someone like you would be into making candles. Avon laughs, eyes flicking away with a sheepish smile. Yeah, the doctor says it's nice to have a soothing, calming hobby. What? He looks back at you, catching your shocked expression, and bursts into laughter. I'm joking. Rolling his eyes, he continues his softer tone. He continues. His tone's softer now. When I was younger, my baby sister Arden actually loved him. It was a nice distraction from, well, our parents constantly bickering. His fingers tap idly on the blanket as he speaks. His fingers tap idly on the blanket as he speaks, like he was keeping count of his thoughts. I used to just watch her and my mom make them. Avon's face loosened in melancholy. Honestly, I thought it was dumb at the time. Candles. Who'd care, right? He exhales through his nose with a nostalgic smile. Then one night, she had to make one for school, show and tell. Mom was working late. Dad refused to help. So there I was, in the kitchen, trying to make sure she didn't get burned by the wax. He shook his head quietly, lips parting only slightly before swallowing the emotion that threatened to come out. Instead, he murmured a laugh. She's only 2 years younger than me, but I knew my parents would kill me if I let her hurt herself. So I helped. And I just kept the hobby since then. You hummed in acknowledgement, and he coughed to wave off any lingering awkwardness. Oh, although it wasn't awkward for you at all, he must have felt that way himself. You smile fondly at his awkwardness, finding it endearing. You shifted uncomfortably, letting out a shiver and curling in slightly, hands wrapping around yourself as you huffed out a warm breath of air. I didn't dress as warm as I thought I did. Oh well. You laugh small and breathy, trying to downplay the visible shiver that ran up your spine. Avon snickered quietly. Well, there's an extra blanket. He reaches over in front of you to grab it on the other side of the makeshift picnic and hands you the soft roll of cloth to you without a word. Gently taking it, you bring the fabric to your face, inhaling the scent without thinking about it. It was nice, soft, inviting, homey even. Unrolling it, you tugged it around your shoulders slowly, cuddling into it before holding it open the other end for Avon. Avon's body stiffened as he realized what you were offering. What? Get in here. Okay. This is dialogue. Avon crawled over into the blanket, settling in close enough to feel each other's warmth. You couldn't help but let out a giggle at his flustered and awkward state. So, does the blanket smell nice? You looked at him, face red in embarrassment. Yeah, sorry. Avon chuckles. Don't worry about it. I'm glad you like it. I try to keep everything smelling nice, you know. House, car, myself, even blankets, I guess. You both fell into a small fit of giggles. Though, some people say walking into my house is like walking into a Bath and Body Works. He let out a giggle snort at his own joke. Okay, soda. This was nice. It was weird that despite everything, you still laughed. But the mind has an odd way of handling things. Maybe it was the blanket. Or the way Avon said it. Hey, why? There's nothing wrong with smelling with a candle aisle. The wind carried the soft rustle of tree branches, and in the distance the quiet chirp of crickets tried to fill the silence of the cemetery. For a moment, things felt peaceful. Avon's smile tightened into playful joy. I think that's the nicest insult I've gotten all week. You hummed in acknowledgement. But I'll have to let you know that scent is called Midnight Smoke and Cedarwood. Thank you very much. Very masculine. There is nothing about you masculine. Look at you, you fucking femboy. Yes. Just so you know, I have drawn him. In the way you're thinking of, yes. And I have drawn him bound and gagged. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Very mysterious. He burst into a quiet laugh, muffled slightly by the blanket. Really? Thought it was vanilla and cherry blossoms. He rolled his eyes, but the corner of his mouth curled up into a smile. Ha ha. I don't know, I guess I like the idea of comfort. It's nice when everything else isn't. Feels safe, you know? Well, I guess that's true, and it's working. The blanket, the smell, the whole dead people picnic vibe, it's kind of cozy in its own way. He turned towards you, his smile softening, eyes meeting yours. Yeah? He paused for a moment, genuinely curious, his hand reaching out slowly, settling on the curve of your cheek. You feel safe with me? You paused, feeling his eyes on yours. The question lingered in the air, not heavy, just delicate. You didn't flinch. Instead, you gave a small laugh as your heat rose up your neck. Tilting your head, you looked towards him with a half smile. I mean, so far you haven't pushed me to a grave, so that's promising. You weren't sure if you fully believed yourself, but better safe than sorry. Avon let out a slow chuckle, shaking his head at your joke. Such high praise. What can I say? My standards are dangerously low. Avon's eyes glanced off to the side, a smirk pulling at his lips. Well, you did give me your number after throwing up. Hey, it was out of the kindness of my heart, plus probably the closest thing to a fairy tale in this city. Or nightmare. You wondered what he meant by that, but decided not to push and brushed it off with a laugh. Had one too many of those to count. But seriously, this place is kind of weirdly pretty at night. I didn't think I'd ever say that about a cemetery. Avon sat up for a moment to properly lay on his side and face you. Yeah, just quiet, peaceful. Plus, no one ever complains about the music or other sounds. You laughed, pushing his shoulder. Ew, calming down, you sighed. So this is your idea of a romantic evening, huh? Smirking, he nodded. Dead silence, a cozy blanket, and probably a ghost or two. Classic. You shook your head, laughing softly at his ghost comment. Stupid. The shift in tone was welcome, like slipping back into a familiar rhythm. And for now, neither of you dug any deeper. The two of you sat in the stillness, your shoulder nearly brushing Avon's. So tell me something. What do you do when you're not judging people's candle scent or getting dragged to the graveyards by questionable men? Yes, you are very questionable. You fucking... God. I want to pin you down Your knees are weak. You smirked, pulling the blanket tighter like it helped you think. You mean, besides silently questioning my life choices? Avon grinned with a chuckle, leaning into you. Well, yeah. I mean, I've got hobbies. I read sometimes, draw a little, exploring here and there, spiritual emotion, spiral. Yeah, I can tell English isn't the dev's first language, and that's okay. But hopefully, with the updates coming to the game, they fix the spelling errors. Spiral emotionally on the weekends, the usual. Avon laughed, looking up at the sky. Oh, yeah, can't forget those. You both shared a snicker before falling into a comfortable silence. So, do you like Colorado? Avon blinks as the question caught him off guard. Then he lets out a breath and chuckles. That's a sudden shift. Yeah, well, not everything has to be about death and drama, right? He tilts his head, considering you for a moment, then his expression softens just a bit. Fair enough. Yeah, I like it. The cold's a bitch, but the mountains make up for it. Have you always lived there? Avon shook his head. Nah, I was actually born in Mexico. Mexico? Really? He hummed in confirmation. Oh, fucking Latino. You Latino patty. Fuck me, god damn it, I just like Latina Sonic. What? I should make that a soundboard. Fucking. Just. Damn it. Oh, fuck. He hummed in confirmation. Near Mexico City. My mom moved us up here when I was about 4. Said the air was cleaner. He rolls his eyes at that, clearly quoting. Not sure if she meant that metaphorically or literally, but here we are. You nod slowly, taking that in. Do you remember anything from back there? Bits and pieces. The language stuck more into place, though you barely use it now. There's a moment of silence again, but this one feels easier. Less like a pressure and more like a shared pause. Avon takes a sip of his drink before speaking. What about you, Alexis? Born and raised, or did you crawl out of some haunted crypt nearby? Wouldn't you like to know, Grave Boy? Wouldn't you like to know, Grave Boy? Avon nearly spits up his drink and laughs, amused. Did you just quote a meme? He snickers. But damn, Grave Boy? Cute, I'm flattered. Oh, fuck. You glance at him and his eyes are already on you. Mischief there, but something else too. Something searching. Strange, isn't it? What is? How nice it is talking with you. Despite not really knowing each other. You nodded in agreement. He was opening up, but so were you. It was nice. He hummed and thought. Are you normal? I don't think anyone is, really. Yeah, just gotta look hard enough. Avon's eyes glanced over. Avon's eyes glanced you over, giving you an expectant look as his eyebrows were raised ever so slightly. But then he looked away, foot tapping, and thought, I mean, I Avon giggles for a moment, softer this time. I fully get people pretending they are, but I would be a hypocrite if I didn't. Just wish I didn't have to. It could be tiring. He speaks of normalcy like it's a better word on his tongue. I don't think you're so bad. Abnormal is refreshing. Your eyes soften into a gaze, lips curving ever so slightly. Avon blinks at you, almost suspicious of your kindness. He studies your face as if trying to find a joke. He seems almost disturbed by your drawn-out words. That's sweet. Dangerous, but sweet. You don't know everything about me, Alexis. That kind of trust is reckless. But you don't look away, and that unsettles him more than any accusation would. Though he was curious and pitied your poor attempt at flirting. Don't romanticize me. You'll regret it. Maybe I like recklessness. Avon's face softens with a smile. He shakes his head and laughs. You two sat in silence for a moment, watching as the gray clouds passed by, the winds of Colorado passing you by. I was thinking about the whole thing with your family, and I couldn't help to be a little bit jealous. Avon looked at you in concern, his eyebrows raising in shock for a moment. You quickly realized your words and stammered to clarify. Oh, well, no, I mean like, you, your sister, you and your sister, my bad. Avon nodded with a small and thought for a moment. Well, do you have any siblings? He waved off the idea. Oh, no, but it'd be fun if I did. Focus on the hands. Hang on. Avon chuckled. Yeah. You lay beside him, eyes drifting once more to the inverted cross pendant resting on his chest. The St. Peter's cross glints faintly under the moonlight. You hesitate, then speak softly. You've talked about your dad a little, but not much about your mom or your family in general besides the candle stuff. Avon's gaze doesn't leave the sky. His thumb instinctively moves to the pendant, pressing it lightly. My dad, you already know. Cold stuff, anger, the whole cocktail. My mom wasn't really around, not fully. Avon huffed through his nose at the memory. She had this affair with a man. Not like some midlife crisis either. It was long, ongoing. My dad knew. She never left him, though. Eventually she did. Not legally, of course. They're still married on paper. Isn't that something? Either desperate to escape my father or desperately in love. I never knew. Still don't. At the time I was too young to really understand. Shaking his head, he continued as he listened with soft eyes. She did eventually have a kid, though, when I was about 2, right before we moved here. Things were fine and I didn't suspect a thing. Too young to. Then, my dad got more violent, angry, drunk, abusive. He chuckles, humorous. I tried so hard to make her happy again. I would stay up all night doing my homework, studying, getting the best grades. She always stressed the importance of it. Would say things like, don't worry about mommy and Bibi. Just focus on your studies and I'll be fine. Avon laughed loudly. I believed her though. Thought that would even thought that even when she was getting the lights knocked out of her, my grades will fix. My grades of all things would fix it. But I believed her. Thought that even when she was getting the lights knocked out of her, my grades of all things would fix it. Man, was I naive. Avon sighed as you listened. My sister, half sister, whatever mom took, whatever. Mom took Arden and ran when I was around 10. Left me with my dad like I was part of the problem. Or just too much effort to pack up. Can't believe the guy actually moved up here too. Avon rolled his eyes at the thought. She'd check in sometimes, bring groceries, see how I was doing, or when I got in trouble. But my dad barely cooked. When I was about 14, she hardly came around anymore. More like once every other month. Dad didn't give a fuck either. Probably too drunk too. Sometimes just too sadistic too. I went hungry a lot. Ate spoiled or raw food until I finally taught myself to cook. Money wasn't the issue. It's not like we were broke. They just stopped caring. My dad raised me to be detached, I guess. Like emotions were a weakness. He wanted me to be just like him. Occasionally put his hands on me and talk down to me like I'm scum. Probably the worst thing he could have ever done. He never really saw how much damage. God dang it, fucking OBS. Okay, shit. Oh, fuck. Okay. But watching him beat my mom? Avon spaced out as if dissociating. Yeah, that left a scar big enough on its own. You didn't say anything at first, just let the silence settle between you. Avon stared ahead, eyes unfocused, jaw clenched but not angry, just distant, lost in memory. The wind moved through the cemetery trees again, brushing through branches. It stoned like the dead were listening. He spoke quietly. You okay? He blinked like he'd forgotten you were there, head turning slightly towards you, then away. Yeah, I'm good. He let out a quick breath, shaking his head lightly as if trying to snap himself back, pulling the blanket that was wrapped between you both closer to his body. Shit, sorry, Alexis. That probably got a lot deeper than you expected. Oh, I know it's going to go a lot deeper than expected. He smiled, trying to lighten the mood, but it was more like a mask than anything. It's okay. You kept your tone steady as you smiled. I don't mind. For a moment, his shoulders relaxed. Not much, but it was enough. So, what about your sister Arden? Avon glanced at you, brow furrowing just a little. My sister, we're not that close anymore. Oh, really? Avon hesitated for a moment, eyes drifting away from you again, looking at an old, cracked headstone. It's not because I don't want to be. It's just probably better this way. His thumb rubbed absent-mindedly into the blanket. We text a lot, though. Talk here and there. Send memes. Pretend things are normal. You gave a small, hollow chuckle. Anything but that, huh? Yeah, I just wish we'd had a real childhood. Like one of those cliche ones with bike rides and birthday parties and, I don't know, warm kitchens or something. Sort of like the Hallmark movies. He shook his head gently with a scoff, like he should push the image away before it got too vivid. She used to visit when I was younger. After she and Mom left, sometimes she'd stay a few nights, and sometimes a few weeks. I used to count the days until she'd come back. Shut up. I mean, yeah, she's your sister. His voice got more distant as he swallowed thickly. I got really attached. Mentally, I mean. Probably more than I should have. He seemed to struggle to look at you after that, staring down into his hands. Anyway, we hang out now and then, grab food, walk around. It's good, just not the way I imagined it when I was a kid. He exhaled slowly. Back then, I thought, when I got older, we'd just fix it all somehow. Well, do you have any friends? Ouch. How mean. He laughed, giving an apologetic smile. But yeah, I do though. I'm not sure if you would call all of them friends. Okay, tell me about your childhood friends. Xander. I met Xander when I was 4. Fresh off the move to Colorado. We were kids, recess friends. He'd follow me around the playground like some sad little duck. All big eyes and scraped knees. At first I didn't mind it. He was quiet, easy. But kids grow. I started noticing things, how soft he was, how easy it'd be to chip away at him, so I did. You got the sense that there was more to it he wasn't letting off for some reason. I'd shove him during dodgeball, say he cried too easy, pull his hoodie down in front of the other kids. He flinched like clockwork. Eventually, I'd corner him after class, whisper things that stuck in his head for hours. No one likes you. You're just convenient. That kind of thing. Isn't that a bit much? Maybe. But I was shaving him, doing him a favor. I'd let him sit with us one day, ignore him the rest, toss him a compliment after ripping him apart. Over time, he started hanging on to every word I said. That's when I knew I had him. By high school, junior year, we weren't just friends. We were something else. We'd do things that make your skin crawl. Break-ins, vandalism, setups. Sometimes it was for fun. Sometimes it was for a little extra cash. Sometimes it was just to see how far we'd go. How far he'd go. And Xander, he hesitated, but he never really said no. Avon's face flickered with something wicked. That wouldn't have mattered anyways. And we got real close. We got close. Real close. Your face scrunched in confusion. What do you mean? You know, the kind of close people notice but don't question? Well, West did. Rambled about it all the time to Tersk. Our friends, but most would just whisper about it. They'd never question anything, and if they did, they certainly didn't say anything. I remember laughing once, thinking how no one would ever believe what we'd really done together, how deep it all went. But then shit got up to me after high school. I got into some mess. Jail time. Nothing permanent, but enough. And when I got out, Xander was gone. Blocked my number. Changed phones. Vanished like I'd never been a part of his life. Avon's grip on the blanket tightened between his fingers, nails taking into his palm. It stung. Bad. Not because I missed him, but because I made him. You blinked once, then twice, trying to evaluate his words properly. And he had the nerve to pretend like I never existed. You looked in shock, jumping back for a moment. Avon sighed and muttered a sorry. I was pissed. Hurt, yeah, sure. But mostly angry. I let it go eventually. Got into college. Started over, kind of. Then I saw him again on the campus. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Maybe he had. I didn't rush it. Just gave him space. Time. And wouldn't you know it, slowly he came back around. Or maybe he could have just left him alone. Oh wait, why is it italic? I thought it was his text. Or maybe he could have just let them alone. Started messaging, laughing again, letting the walls drop. Same old patterns, same little ticks. Avon laughed. Where'd he go? He just fucking disappeared. Why is this option still here? I just picked that one. Tell me about your close friends. I've got a little circle. Not many people know about them. Not really. Just a handful of friends, if you can call them that. They're the ones I can actually be myself around. No mask, no filters, no judgment. That shit's rare. Some of them are worse than me, honestly. In different ways. Sick, twisted people. The kind of people who should have been locked away years ago if the world gave a damn. We've all done things. Things that no one should talk about out loud. Stuff that should have landed us behind bars or 6 feet under. But it didn't. It never does. And when I'm with them, I feel unchained. Like the violence in my chest finally has somewhere to go. It excites me. Keeps me sharp. Alive. But also, weirdly, accepted. He laughed, not wanting to let off more than necessary. I don't talk about them too much, so maybe another day. But I will say this. I introduced Xander to one of them. Thought maybe, just maybe he'd fit in. I was optimistic. They scared him. Especially after that cat. You looked at him in curiosity. A cat? Yeah. They... I... We killed a cat. Right in front of him. What the fuck? Avon jumped to defend himself. A mistake, really. Avon looked to the side as if he was hiding something. Xander wanted nothing to do with them after that. Avoided me for weeks. West, though? West was easier. He's wired for adrenaline. Doesn't even need a reason. If there's a rush, he's in. Tursk hated that. Always tried to keep him out of our mess. But when Tursk wasn't looking, West tagged along. Just fine. But none of them compared to her. Renee. Met her on Twitter of all places. One of those weird, grimy late night communities. Dark concept art, gore, the darkest, freakiest shit you can find. And she got me. She's not like the rest. I don't know what she is exactly, but I cherish her. That's not a word I use lightly. Avon hummed a soft, genuine smile on his face. That one, that one. Okay, acquaintances. Avon giggled as if someone had already popped into his head. This girl Calbat and I go way back. High school. She used to hang out with Xander, actually. I think they were lab partners or something in middle school. Funny, right? She hated me. Still kinda does. Said I gave her a bad feeling the first time I spoke to her. I told her that was... Fuck. I told her that was just first meeting jitters. We weren't friends not back then. But soon enough, we both needed cash. Her mom was sick. Really sick. She didn't talk about it much, but it hung on her like a weight. Try through it. Me? Had my own mess to deal with. You know, angry dad, mom bailed. Bills stacking up like the bones. We both needed a way out. So we made one. Started small. Contracts off the dark net. Nothing huge. Just hacking jobs. Some light blackmail, data dumps. We were good together. He raised your eyebrow. He rolled his eyes and smirked. Not in a romantic way, calm down. Just efficient. She knew how to code, how to keep her mouth shut. I respected that. I pitched the organ trade once, just casually. She didn't like that too much. Can't blame her. She's got lines. Me, mine's a bit blurrier. Instead, we focused on trackers, GPS mods, burner rigs, custom bugs. Stuff you stick on a car or a person when you want to know everything. They sold like crazy. Black market, private contracts. Some guy in Russia who never gave a name. We made a killing. She's sharp, no nonsense, and way too grounded to fall into the chaos like others did. Still thinks I'm dangerous. She's right, of course. But she keeps answering when I call. And in this line of work, that's all that matters. Avon sighed thoughtfully. Now let's do the high school friends. High school friends. Thought for a moment, gathering his thoughts. Well, have I actually known Tursk and West since middle school? We weren't the best kids. Definitely not saints. Not even close. We used to mess with this kid Xander. Actually, he used to be scrawny, quiet, too nerdy for his own good. Easy target. Kinda looked like a kid puppy most of the time. I think we just wanted to see if he snapped. He never really did. Avon laughed as if remembering a fond memory. There was this one time up on the school rooftop. It was my idea, obviously. I thought it'd be funny to give him a little push, you know? A shove. Dumb move, but we were kids. He went right over the edge, broke a bunch of shit. His arm, his ribs, maybe his pride too. Still breathing though, so not a big deal in the long run, right? You stared in shock. What? Avon looked at you, right in the eye, but he quickly moved on instead of explaining himself. He simply laughed it off. Anyway, high school came around, and somehow we ended up friends with him. I suggested it, of course. Said it'd be good to keep him close. At that point, he fit in all right. After a bit of rewiring, Xander had been changed into something harder, more useful, easier to laugh with, and he had potential. You wondered what he meant by potential. We all started hanging out more, studying, crashing at each other's places. I always got the best grades. Church was all about football, the thing, and yelling about grit. It was either that or the superheroes. Wes was a sugar bomb with legs, adrenaline driven, jittery hands, big dumb heart. Always down to try anything if you framed it right. I found it funny. Took advantage of that more than once. There was this night at my house. Wes dropped a cup, plastic, not even glass. My dad lost his shit. Slapped him so hard the walls shook. Poor Wes looked like he'd seen God. Your brows furrowed in concern. What the hell? What happened? I laughed. What else could you do? Terse didn't, though. From then on, he'd bring juice boxes over like Wes was some toddler. Thought that was sweet in a sad kind of way. Not that it mattered. They'd stopped staying overnight not too long ago. They'd stopped staying overnight not too long after that. You guys stayed friends? Well, college split us up, kinda. Not really. I switched majors. I was going to be a nurse, but that got boring. Now I'm in cybersecurity. Makes more sense, right? I like breaking into things, so it felt like the right thing to do. Turk's still playing football, drinking his weight in cheap beer, studying somewhere with dead frogs and scalpels. Biology studying frat bro. West, he's doing journalism. Wants to tell stories. Kind of funny considering how many of ours he'll never ever touch in 1,000 years. He knows when to keep his mouth shut, usually. I'm getting my master's now, though. Still top of the class, still ahead of the game. Xander? Still following along, though we were hardly in contact like we used to be in high school. Avon thinks as a flicker of betrayal crosses his face. Wow, you really do have friends. You know what to say at first. His words hang in the air, dense and uneasy. You laughed nervously. What the hell is wrong with you? Interesting, not exactly surprising though. He tilts his head slightly, the corner of his mouth twitching. You say that like you figured me out. You crossed your arms slowly, postured, calm, and controlled. He was like a two-faced rabid animal, if you will. He seemed kind, and maybe at this point he changed. His smile didn't reach his eyes, however. He was so kind at the party, and possibly, just possibly, the whole lot was behind him now. But you weren't too sure. Some people change. Maybe I did. That's what they say after all, right? Well, you were pretty nice at the party. He hums quietly, agreeing. I put on my best behavior that night. Glad you noticed. Yeah, I get it. All people need a pack. You didn't want to push the wrong buttons. You breathed, trying to release tension. He watches you breathe as if he's logging it away, amused. That's how you survive, isn't it? Most people, anyway. But, you know, people change, always have a reason, and you seem like you've changed. That counts for something. I mean, the guy at the party couldn't possibly have been the same guy you're talking about now, right? His face goes still. Too still. We all have some skeletons to hide, but what matters is where we go from there, I guess. He smiles again as if he watches you for your response. Right. But as his eyes drift away from you, the smile fades entirely. His jaw clenches just barely, and his gaze settles on nothing in particular, unfocused, quiet like he's thinking. As the breeze picked up, you shivered slightly. Avon glanced at you inside. Rolling his neck, he looked back at you. What about you, Alexis? How's your family and friends? He says it like it's casual, but his eyes linger, like he's actually listening for something deeper than just small talk. Fuck, let's see which one's comic accurate, because she does not have family at all. Yeah, there's nothing comic accurate. Family's alright, but friends not really. Shit, sorry, that's just kind of funny. You blink. He sees your confusion and shrugs with a smirk. But the only people that can who can stand you. Oh my god, that's bogus. That the only people who can stand you are the ones genetically obligated to. He stretches his legs, grin. At least you got someone in your corner. Could be a lot worse, Alexis. Laughing slightly to ease the tension, you decided to move the topic to something more light. You both sat on the edge of the blanket, your drinks beside you. Avon had been talking for a while, drifting from the subject classes into random tangents about life. So, you're 25, right? Are you still in school? Yeah, I study at Denver University, working towards my master's now. Any good? Yeah, school's fine, I guess. You? Nice, I actually go to a community college at the moment. Saves money. How's the university? It's cool, lots to do, but sometimes I just ditch and go check out abandoned places or drive around with friends. Clears my head. You laughed slightly. Oh, you laughed lightly. Which one do you actually enjoy more? Okay, come on. Ah, damn it. There we go. Which one do you actually enjoy more? Avon smirked. Both, actually. Man's gotta have hobbies other than deaf and whatever illegal shit. Your smile faltered a bit at the casual way he said it. Avon's eyes flickered to you. You could tell you weren't entirely comfortable with the joke. Avon then sighed and leaned back, flashing a quick smile. My bad. His voice was teasing as usual, but softer now. You wanna hear some poems? He raised a brow. Oh, poems? Yeah, I got a bunch saved. Avon hummed, sitting up and already unlocking as well. Renee's actually heard some of these before. He nodded and smiled. Sure then. He scrolled for what he was searching and began reading. The first one was raw, almost uncomfortably so, about a desperate child who always felt like an intruder in his own home. They want to search for your face for your reaction. Smile and interest. The second one was darker, about teenage years, adrenaline filled, the vines ridden and drenched in trouble. It was full of the excitement of committing only a crime can give. You search for face reaction. Based in the move. Third and last one felt like it was about someone older. It held the same trouble as the last, perhaps even worse, but it was heavy and reflective. Face reaction. Tried, didn't move. When he finished the last line, his voice lingered in the air for the moment before he spoke again. I wanted to be a good person once. Maybe I was. But it was so long ago, I'm not sure anymore. Guess that's what shitty parents and no internet safety does to you. You sat there and thought, and that's when you noticed the soft patter around you. It had started to rain, the thick leaves above your head shielding most of it. At least we're under a good tree, he muttered, as the two of you watched the droplets fall just past the edge of the blanket. Silence hung between you until you nudged him. Keep talking. He didn't look at you at first, but then his eyes scraped slowly to the corner, glancing at... Oh, fuck! But then his eyes scraped slowly to their corner, glancing over at you. You ever want to disappear? You stared in momentary shock. Uh. What the fuck is this long ass novel post? I mean, weird question, that's for sure, but sometimes not in a literal sense, of course. More like just taking a break from everything and restart. I think we all need that now and then. What kind of questions that do know what the fuck? Yeah, things just get hard sometimes. Yeah, something's definitely hard right now. No, it's not. I wanna fuck this man. Avon listened intently. Sorry, that was probably a dark answer. Avon smiled at your honest answer. It was weird, but being that vulnerable, but it was just like it came without a second thought. But it wasn't like you could just shove the words back in your mouth out of embarrassment, though you wish you could. No need to apologize for such a real answer. It's honest, vulnerable. I like that in people. Avon placed his hand on yours with a soft expression. If it were up to me, I'd make sure things were never hard for you again. His smile tightened like he was thinking more, wanted to say more. But the words never came out. You wish you knew what he was thinking, his true intentions. His intentions is to murder. The rain that splattered around you grew heavy, thunder cracking angrily at the distance. The trees that once saved you from getting your clothes soaked did little to help filter out the rain, the blanket around you both also soaking. Fuck! Oh, shit. Damn. I didn't think it would rain. You stood up quickly, trying to block your face from the rain. Avon looked around quickly and grabbed your arm. Come on. He swiftly pulled you underneath a stone hedge that led into what seemed to be a mausoleum. You both leaned your backs against the stone wall, catching your breath. After a few moments, you turned to look at each other. You both couldn't help but laugh at the situation. Thanks. Quick thinking there. Yeah, I wouldn't want my date to get wet, wouldn't I? I want to see you wet, though. Wringing out his hair, he took it out of his ponytail and murmured to himself. He shook his hair out and massaged the scalp, allowing the locks to fall along his shoulders, letting out a content hum. Much better. What a fuck. God damn it. It's like 3 fucking rings. God damn it. He'd smiled at you, playfully teasing you. You're shivering. Yeah, I guess a blanket can't do much when it's wet, can it? You laughed, pulling your arms closer to your body. If you want, I can hold on to you. We can keep each other warm just until the rain calms down enough to walk to the car. Hold me. You suddenly feel warm already. Avon let out a guffaw at your flustered face. Yeah, hold you. Now come here, don't make it awkward. Avon pulled you closer to his chest. It was warm. His cologne brought out a sense of comfort. Same as the blanket did. It almost made you relax against your will, keeping you inhaling and steady. You didn't entirely notice it before, but despite his frame, he seemed well built. His heartbeat, despite everything, was steady. You looked up at him as he smiled down at you. Better? Quickly, you turned your head away bashfully. Yeah, actually a lot warmer now. Your gaze met its way back towards him. The way his wet strands of hair clung to his neck and curtained around his face made you blush. Getting a closer look, you locked onto his eyes. They almost made you forget where you were for a moment. The way the rings pulsated ever so slightly, it was hard not to get lost in such a unique irises. Fucking hate roommates. Uh, um, you fell over your words, mouth suddenly dry. Something caught your eye, or something on my face, Dove? His voice was soft and sultry. I know it's supposed to say sultry, but it says slutry. It says slutry. Yeah, English is definitely not the dev's first language. Because it says slutry. Slipping into your ears like silk. What? Oh, wait, Dove? Avon chuckled at your confused face. Yeah, dove. Like a morning dove. Ah, I see. Seems so dark. It's a mouse. It's sweet in its own way, I guess. Avon brought his hand to your face and wiped away a stray hair that clung to it. Your cheeks are so warm. Do you like that name, Dove? What? No, I did, but that's not why. It's just that we're super close. Avon cocked his eyebrows slightly. Not used to it. Dove. What is this dialogue? You didn't say anything, and he let out a sigh, off in thought, letting his hand find its way back to your waist. He simply stared off into the rain and back at you. When he looked back at you, he gave a gentle smile. It was the kind of smile that could melt someone's heart, and it did. Your words fluttered as the two of you sat under the rough patter of rain. He rested your head gently against his chest, and the steady rhythm of his heartbeat filled your ears as he yawned slipped out. The limbs on your body grew heavy, rubbing your eyes, your thoughts slower and slower. You hadn't really noticed just how tired you were after such a long conversation. Avon's eyes softened as he shifted, lowering you over towards the stone floor of the mausoleum, letting you rest against him. Dang it, it's ending 3. Yeah, the player character kind of thick though. Not gonna lie. He signed a dog glancing down at you as your eyelids grew heavy. It's fine to nap. I'll wake you up once the rain clears, so don't worry about it, okay? You nodded tiredly and finally allowed some sleep to take you. As you slept, Avon muttered to himself in thought, I like you, kinda. In a weird way, I guess I can keep you around and see what you're about. He laughed quietly to himself. Congratulations to you, I guess. Interesting enough to keep you around. At least you weren't boring. If you saw the other endings, you know what that means. You're interesting enough to keep around. Not too exciting for him to kill, but not too boring enough for him to kill. He leaned his head back against the cold stone wall, eyes drifting shut for a moment. You really are lucky, you know, like this, you just don't know. Time passed. When you started awake, Avon was gently shaking your shoulder. Your eyes fluttered open outside the mausoleum. The rain is slow to a drizzle. Sleep well, Dove. You yawned, stretching as you sat up. Yeah, I guess the conversation in the rain really put me to sleep. It's not that you're boring or anything, your voice is just soothing. Sorry about that. Avon chuckled, offering you his hand to help you up. Oh, good. He pulled out his phone, checked the time inside. It's getting pretty late, huh? I guess I should drive you back home. he stashed the snacks and opened the door for you. As you settled in with a sigh, he slipped into the driver's seat. Before starting the car, he pulled out a long switch blade and placed it casually on the control panel. You did have a fucking weapon. You duplicitous bitch. Fuck you. Your eyes widened in shock slightly at the sight of the blade. Did you always have that? He buckled his seatbelt, glancing between the knife and you. Ah, yeah, I keep it on me in case anything bad happens. Not a habit, really. You laughed nervously, trying to poke fun as he started the car. What, did you think I'm some serial killer here to take your organs or something? Avon gave you a once-over and let out a short laugh as he pulled out the lot. You? Not in a million years. You giggled as the car rolled down the empty streets towards your house. The ride was full of chatter and jokes as Avon held your free hand in his, rubbing small circles on your hand with his thumb. Before long, you stood outside your place. Avon got out too, grabbing his jacket and leaning against his car to watch as you walked up to your door. Thanks for the day, Dave, for driving me home. Avon grinned playfully, rolling his eyes. Of course. Sorry you got wet, though. You glanced down at your damp clothes and shrugged. A little rain never killed anybody. I guess you're right. Well, today was nice, Alexis. I'll get you inside and settled. You nodded with a smile, turning on your heel. But before you could step away, his hand caught your wrist gently, turning you back around. Before you could ask what was wrong, he leaned in and pressed a small kiss on your cheekbone, pulling away with a fond smile. Thanks for the date tonight. Have a good night, Dove. You stammered, cheeks hot. You too. Blushing, you watched him walk back towards his car. Before getting in, he glanced back at you with a small grin. Until next time. You smiled and nodded quickly. Yeah. He waved you off, slipped inside, shutting the door behind you. You smiled to yourself. The day wasn't half bad. A little creepy, sure, but not half bad. Ending real. Fuck. Yep. I will try again on another stream to get ending 1. So, yep. Thanks for playing Day of the Cemetery Chapter 1. Be sure to rate the game here and stay connected for future games and updates. Yep, so that's the ending 3, where the date goes perfectly fine and he doesn't kill you. I'm going to try multiple times across various different streams to get the fucking ending number 1. But until then, I guess I will see you guys later.
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet. And if there's too many hits in my blunt, I won't spark it out. Put it in my pocket and save it like rocket fuel. To everybody's gawk and his cool, then I spark it up with my brother. His mama named him Moan, what I call a Moan lover, and he's more than a cover, he's a quilt. We'll put putting shit together like the house that John built on a hill. Cause this you're gonna feel like velvet, turtle. My style fits tighter than a girdle. If you hate it, then you can just leave it like Beaver. But in a day or two I'll make you a true believer in me. Cause like the alphabet you'll see, there ism kits a rhyme, not your everyday soliloquy. Like Chef 4RD, our rhyme is truly cooking. Piece of Matty Rich, cause he's straight out of Brooklyn, New York. I don't eat pork or swine when I dine. I drink a cup of Kool-Aid, not a big glass of wine or rockin'. And if you have time, I drop rhyme again.